Phew, that was close. I did not get my tea. No, I did not get my tea. So what I'm going to do is I think life is going to be better for everyone if I get my tea. Hi everyone. This has been the weirdest day. You saw me. If you think you are have been hallucinating and you saw me show up early and then I poof disappeared, you are not going crazy. Perhaps I'm going crazy, and that is the situation of what has been happening. But yes, today craziness, just craziness. As I popped on here thinking I was on my tribe page, and this was because if you saw that one, I wanted to talk with Terri's Tribe today. That's my Patreon group. And if you feel like you would like to very, very much be a part of it, go here, okay? And join. Be a part of our group. Be a part of our community because it's a wonderful place. But I would that people have been asking about the process of my mermaid tail, and that's what I wanted to talk about. So I started talking about it, looked over, and realized I was on the wrong channel again. So obviously, as together as I think I am, I'm really not that together. Full disclosure, obviously. But you got to peek again into Terri's Tribe. I was racing because I was moving camera 4 over to show my portfolio, which has the pictures in it that show my process for building a mermaid tail. And uh, and uh, uh, and then all of a sudden, I was in full swing about getting ready to swing over to process when I realized I was in the wrong place. So my apologies, my humblest apologies for confusing you, playing the shell game today. 1 minute she's here and the next she's not. But what is the point in this? The point in this is you just keep going, okay? You just, keep swinging because because you never know. And Patreon's a great place uh, uh, to get together and learn art and to learn about people. I have a spotlight there. You know, it's just a great little spot to have community and to talk. And it's a safe zone. It's an upbeat zone. We're not all about the world. We kind of shut the world out and we talk about, you know, what's going on in our life besides what's happening in the world, right? And sometimes you need that. So it's a way of doing something nice for someone. Indeed. Okay. So, so there you have it. Terri Hardin's Ask Me Anything is about to begin. All right. Before that happens, let's just look at who all is here again. There, see, Nate's feeling better because Nate was feeling like he was having trouble tuning in. He wasn't. I was just bopping around under the shells today trying to make things. You don't have sound, Diane. Everyone else has sound, so check your connections. But mine are showing yes. Let me just check. I will check right now and see. Yep, I've got sound. Okay. So try again, Diane. Um, Hi, Michael. Thank you for joining me, and thank you, Nate, for confirming that. There you go. Yay, Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. Well, hello, North Carolina. How are you? How's it going? Thank you for joining us today. Yes, Nate says, Hi, Chuck. It's been a while, my friend. I actually came across our Alaska pictures and thought of you right away. Good to see you. Good morning. Lots of yay, we're here. Sound is cool. Always double check because it could be me. So, a couple of things I have to tell you. On Saturday, if you are a member of the Golden Gate Disneyana Club, I'm going to be speaking there tomorrow. What time is that? I know Diane could pop it right on if she wanted to, but let me do my due diligence and not give her that monkey. I'll do it myself. Um, but yeah, tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific with the club. I'm looking very forward to that via Zoom. And then on Sunday, I have a artists during COVID kind of chat for a documentary, which is fun. And then I think I mentioned before, I'll mention it again. I'll pretend this is all new because it is. Yesterday I was on a podcast and I discussed a Halloween movie, The Crow. The Crow with Brendan Lee is a really great movie if you get the chance to see it. And now all of a sudden, maybe I was tired and I said the wrong name. I hope I didn't. Ooh, I hope I didn't mess that up. Hopefully Jeff can edit it if I screwed that name up. But it's a dark movie. It's a rough movie, and it's like watching a graphic novel on the screen, and I absolutely love it. But it's not one I usually watch during Halloween, but Halloween is involved, and that was the great criteria. So Jeff DePauli is doing a podcast that will start on October 1st, and it will go all 31 days in October, and each day it's a little soundbite kind of a podcast, 15-20 minutes of different people talking about different films that have Halloween in them. So you've got your basics: Halloween 1, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, obviously Halloween H2O, movies with the name Halloween in them, but also movies that have a Halloween, kids trick-or-treating, etc. scene in it or happen on Halloween. And The Crow actually starts with Devil's Night, the day before Halloween, and ends with a sequence in Halloween. So if you haven't seen it, it's something to see. But if you don't like a lot of violence, there is a lot of violence in this movie. It is, if you like graphic novels, this is what I'm gonna say is just it's fantastic. I love it. So there you go. There she says at 1 p.m. She's on it. So that's what I did last night. And then this whole week has been a little crazy for me because of the holiday. The holiday just messed up the entire week. I didn't think it did, but it actually really did. So there you go. Oh, Nate likes that too. Okay, great. Yeah, Dark City. A friend of mine is in Dark City, actually. I watched it because of him. Hi, Kevin. How are we feeling, Kevin? How are we doing? If you were on the Zoom call, this is Kevin Wiedenweber, the one I told you about on Zoom. And he posted on the page kind of the help that he needs. So I hope, not this page, but on our tribe page. So the Zoom call for the tribe page. See, it's crossing. Let's get to the Ask Me Anythings. And I hear some of you put in questions. Yay! That makes me really happy. Thank you for doing that, guys. But you know what? It's funny because Leo Holzer, who I want to do a shout out and a thank you to, because he always collects the questions and assembles them. But he told me the other day he was getting a little tired and he wondered if we should shorten the Ask Me Anythings to about an hour. And what I am going to do, so you guys know, is I'm going to break up the questions in either 1, 2, or 3 questions at a time, depending on how long it takes me to answer them. And I will start to post them on my YouTube channel for you to see them in little bites. So you don't have to sit through an hour of Terri. I know a lot of you like that. I'm not saying you don't. But for those of you who just maybe have a question and you want to see the answer, we're going to do a special playlist of that. And we're going to break all of these down that I've been doing so that they're smaller and more easier to digest than the entire thing. So that you can look forward to that in the future. I'm not going to say when because I'm in Ghostville right now. I'm working on the Ghost. But in the future, I will be doing that. For now, and it's still pretty much COVID here in California, we'll keep them to about an hour or maybe an hour and a half. I think the last one, though, I went 2 hours, didn't I? But I'm really going to try to keep it to about an hour so that way I'm not overtaxing you. And also, today I've not had tea because I thought I had 5 minutes and I didn't, so I had to get on here because I don't like being late. So there you go. Let me grab said questions. And let's get started. If I think of something else that I was supposed to tell you that I can't remember, I will do it. Oh, like now. My store will be up soon, and you can buy your Walt Disney cachets soon. Okay, so just stay patient. I want to get this store up and running because I want to be able to work on the ghosts. And the main thing that I'm doing is that my store announced to me that they take PayPal as well, so I need to set that up. That's what I'm actually doing. So that if you want to use PayPal, you want to use Apple Pay, I don't know what, but we're changing it. We're shifting it more online since I'm more online than personal appearances because, hello, not a lot of personal appearances are there. So that's what's happening with me and the train, my Walt Disney and Walton Ward train cachet that so many of you want. So hang in there. I will get that done. I'm going to work on that this week. So as soon as I finish here, I'm actually going to get with them and see if we can get it set up. And then I'll announce it like, woohoo, you know? Okay. Inquiring minds want to know more about your work on Dune and some stories about the cast and crew. Well, first of all, I'm going to open up right now and tell you I have a great story involving Sting. And if you saw the David Lynch Dune, and you noticed I couldn't remember his name on the description today, David Lynch, poor David. David's amazing. He does this amazing weather. I should watch it because it must be very interesting with the fires. But I'm digressing again. David Lynch's Dune, which happened back, and it was a De Laurentiis production. Raffaella De Laurentiis. Dino De Laurentiis' maker of Conan with Arnold Schwarzenegger, another favorite of mine. She did the movie. And one of the things, I got two things to tell you. Number one, I cannot talk to you about Sting. If you want to know about Sting, it's going to have to be on my Patreon page. It's a very, very private story, and I cannot do it here. You know, aren't I a stinker? But it's true. That's one of the things I love about my Patreon page. It is a membership private page, so you're going to get stories I can't tell in public there, just so you know. And it's $5 a month to be a part of the basic tier. So $60 a year is not that much, and you get a lot. So I highly recommend that you go there if you want to go. But I'm not saying, you know, you have to. You don't have to do it. It's all there. It is there. You don't have to do it, but the point is that when I have to tell stories like that, that story is very private, so I can't. I can't discuss that right now. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so very sorry, but I can't. Okay, but what I can do is talk to you about the things that I can talk to you about in Dune. And in order to do that, I'm going to get up and I'm going to walk over to my portfolio. First thing I'm going to do is cut to camera 3 and say, hi guys, there's the questions right there. But I'm going to set it up right here. And I know you're kind of looking at my back. I apologize for that. That's because I don't want you to have to endure me flipping pages. You might rather look at pages than me. But let me find my Dune experience in here. I'm just looking for my Dune experience. In fact, let me walk over to the side like this. And I can talk to you while I flip through here and look for my Dune experience. There it is. Okay, here we go. Yay! Okay, so here we go. Ha-ha! I can't do a picture-in-a-picture, so we'll do the best we can, okay? All right. So, down here you see from Frank Herbert's Dune a picture of Kyle MacLachlan and Sting, okay? So there they are. Right there. That's on set. A lot of this was filmed in the Chirabuso Studios in Mexico. Why? Inexpensive. a lot of the extras in that film, because there wasn't a lot of CG back then, they paid them shoes. They paid them shoes to do this. And here's another shot. I built the still suits, not all alone, but I was team still suit builders. So here are the still suits, and I will show you some pictures of that. So here I am over here, working on one of the still suits. You can see that I have a fabulous dragon I drew on the back of my covering here. What do they call that? Jacket? No. Smock. That's the word I was looking for. Okay, so here I am, and I'm actually applying some balloon rubber to one of the still suits. Okay. Now, my first job, right here, cha-ching, there I am. My first job was to, there we go. And this is me right here. And then here's the actor, and we are taking their body cast in order to create a mold of their body so that I can build the still suit on top of that fiberglass body shape. And if you're on my Patreon page, you're gonna say, hey, this looks a little familiar, because I showed the process of making my mermaid tail today on my Patreon page. So here we are taking it, and these are a few of my friends. Jim Leonard, I mentioned him, and this is how we started. So in the beginning, when they hired me for Dune, they weren't ready for me to build the still suits. So there's a great picture of Sting there. There he is. I did a mold. I did a mold of Sting. I did a mold of Kyle. And I didn't do Kyle. Kyle was early. And then here are some detail shots of the still suits I built with the team. Okay, so here you've got the chest for the men. Bob Ringwood designed these based on a design he was kind of, happy about. Here's the back of the still suit. You can see, right? And then here's actually Gurney Halleck's. If you read the book, let me just right the camera. The camera is a little sensitive. Okay, if you've read the book, you understand that this is the water system that goes through the body and recirculates their fluids so that they stay cool. So this is actually a working suit because Max von Sydow played this character, played not Gurney, but what was it? Because Gurney was, he played, anyway. There's a scene where the suit is ripped, been a few years, and here are the pieces that we are attaching. But this one is a special suit because it had to be able to have water pumped through it, and when it's ripped, it does that. So that's what it looks like. But here they are. Here's the back, and here's the system right in here with it all painted with the balloon rubber. We're going to come over a little bit. Here's the same water system. I don't know if I can get that to focus. See if it will. Oh, there, you can see that pretty good. But you see, it's tubes and tubes and tubes and tubes to illustrate that they would spew water when they throw him out in the desert, and he will die because they rip the suit. And then here are, I'll have to pull back a little bit. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's pull back, and I'll get the glare off it in a minute. There we go. That's the set of suits. Your suit is ready, sir. Your suit is ready. So there are the suits that we built. We built hundreds of these suits for everybody. And then my friend Teresa came up with a better idea. So this is a paint booth, and they actually sprayed the balloon rubber onto it using an air gun. So there it is on the body. Underneath is the body of the actor. And then there it is. Okay? And then if you want to see the suit kind of with the pipes and tubes, here's another shot of it. Okay, now you do get to see me turn the page. Oh, I guess I don't have any more. I thought I had a picture of it being sprayed, but I guess I don't. But then finally, let me take you over here where I did some Sean Young stunt doubling. That's me on the set. Let me move in. Wearing the female suit. Let's see, there we go. There we go. Yay, thank you, Cameron. I'm wearing a female still suit. They actually gave this to me. And I am doing the stunt doubling for Sean Young because I had her same thin. Back then I was a thin, skinny girl. The only thing they had to do was beef up my arms for it. And then I did a lot of the running in the desert, cook your brain sequences while she stayed in her trailer being cool and comfy. That's what it is about an actor, is they get to be all cool, all comfy, and the stunt people do the hard work, right? Unless you're, of course, Tom Cruise, who I just saw in the latest Mission Impossible do his own stunt. You know, some actors are crazy that way. But a lot of people don't want you to be doing that because you cost a lot of money. And if something happens to you, you cost a lot of money. So that's why stuntmen who do it as for a living, that's why stuntmen are so important. Because, you know, as an actor, I know you want to do your own stunts to make it look authentic. But if you should get hurt, the production is in jeopardy. So that's one of the reasons, you know, I believe in stuntmen all the time. I think they're amazing. I thought I had my Gurney Halleck suit there. Originally on Dune, Gurney Halleck was going to be played by Aldo Ray. And then Aldo Ray, who I absolutely love, he's from older films. He was a very large man. And my job was to take the patterns and repurpose them, because that's kind of what I do. Repurpose them so that he looked really cool and nice. Let me see if I can find that picture, because I guess that's what that one is in the corner. But I thought his chest was bigger, but this could possibly be. Let me go to camera 4 again one more time for you guys. Whoop. And I turn it over here to this one. There it is. This shoot here, and I'll probably pull back from it, is, I went in. There. This is my Gurney Halleck suit for Aldo Ray. And what I did was I took his body shape and pinched in his waist, cinched in his waist, and built out his chest and shoulders. And Bob Ringwood and David Lynch and even Frank Herbert loved the way this was. They loved the way this suit looked. And they loved that, I'm just stabilizing my camera stand so it doesn't tip over. There we go. They loved what I did with it. They were impressed because many people just tried to stretch the existing Kyle MacLachlan patterns for the still suit onto onto Aldo Ray. That doesn't work when you're a big man. So I just drew up the patterns, remade the patterns, repurposed the patterns for him, and it worked great. And things worked great. Yeah, but Aldo, being a scrapper, he fought with some people in Mexico and got thrown in jail, and next thing you know, it was the Patrick from Star Trek. His last name is eluding me. I know you guys will know it. But anyway, Patrick played that role. And so that suit was pushed aside, never used, and we built one for Patrick Stewart. Yeah. So Patrick was the one in that movie, and so a different body type altogether, so we could not repurpose it for that. So that's the Dune making Dune. And then they saw that I was slender, I was energetic, I was happy, I was perky, and I'm really surprised that I don't have. I keep thinking, that there's also a picture that should be in there of me talking to Max von Sydow in between doing his body cast. So I did his body cast as well, and got to chat with him about King Osric from Conan, because that is one of my favorite characters he did. And also talking to Max von Sydow about being the older priest in The Exorcist, because at that time he really wasn't that old. That's that amazing Dick Smith makeup that did that. And he was really young at the time. And then I asked him what his favorite role was. And although the movie was kind of, his favorite role was Ming the Merciless. He said it took about 4 hours to get in the makeup, and then it took about 1.5 to get out of it. Always easier to get out of stuff than get in it, I guess. But yes, it was great to sit and stand and talk with him. And I thought for sure I had that picture. Let me look one more time and see if I had it. I'm just surprised that it's not me talking to him, because I was sure I had it in there, and I don't. I go directly from Ghostbusters. To Captain EO. Yeah. No, Captain EO's cool. You know, I got my Captain EO stuff. I just am surprised I don't have my picture with Max. I would have loved to have showed that to you. Yeah, I would have liked to. But oh well, gang. Oh well. If I find it, I'll show you. Yeah. After you posted the flashback photo yesterday of you and Michael Jackson, people are interested in hearing more about your work on Captain EO. Conversations you had with Michael, Angelica, George. Did you ever visit Neverland? Never, ever, ever visited Neverland, but I sure had some great times with Michael Jackson. Before I go on to that question, I should say with Dune, because I was the pattern maker for the still suits, I have a couple of really good friends who would like to have those patterns, and I keep saying if I can find them. But I'm in process of cleaning my garage. In fact, yesterday, it was so cool, as in temperature here, I was going to jump out and clean my garage. And then the news said, and I quote, "Lock your doors, lock your windows, and don't breathe the air outside. It's so bad for you." So I could not clean my garage. But I'm sure that these pieces are in the garage. And I mapped out everything on these still suits, and people love these still suits. And yeah, some of the stories with the actors are just very, very personal. And so if you're on the Patreon page and you want to hear those private stories, then, just give me a shout out and I'll tell you. Okay. All right. Also, David Lynch was a really great guy, a very strange character. If you've seen Twin Peaks, you know how his mind works. And I had a piece for a while that finally just fell apart that he had signed of the still suit pattern that I had come up with, textures and stuff that we all as a team came up with. And he signed it for me and gave it to me. And then, because it's latex, it's basically a latex balloon rubber kind of thing, it fell away. So that's what happened. And then I was going to tell you about Frank Herbert, the author. He was there. This is one of the blessings of having done that movie. If you saw that movie, you're like, what? Some of you like it, and some of you are like, what happened? Originally, that Dune film was supposed to be like this new film. This new film, apparently, I'm told, is going to tell the first book in 2 movies. This is what Frank Herbert always wanted, was to tell the first book in 2 movies. And that's what they promised. But when Raffaella got a hold of it, hours and hours and hours of footage was on the cut to the floor. And she decided to do books 1 through 3 in 2 hours. They had filmed the entire movie and were ready to do it in the 2 parts, but she and this is what happens in post-production, guys. You shoot it, you have it a certain way you think you're going to do it, and then the production gets a hold of it and changes their mind, i.e. Country Bears, i.e. Monkey Bone. All of this happens after actors have gone home and we have no more. Director has a little bit of say, but you'd be surprised how little sometimes. And that's exactly what happened. Also, one person who really ends up not having a huge say, Frank Herbert. He was just livid at the result of the final Dune because he wanted the story to unfold, much like it appears to be doing in this trailer that I saw, which I have to say, I can't really voice an opinion. My husband was asking me, do you think you'd go see it? That I can say yes. I think I will make sure that I see this movie. But the problem is there's so much computer generated graphics in it, generated stuff. A lot of stuff generated by computer, okay? And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying that takes a lot of time. So if you're going to do a trailer for a movie, they're still working on this computer generated environment, this computer generated things that they're doing with the film is still happening right now. So how do you do a trailer that makes people excited with a minimal amount of stuff when a lot isn't done? Also, a lot of people out there do spoilers. They'll actually post things they shouldn't be posting about the movie, parts of the movie, things in the movie, behind the scenes that they're not supposed to be doing. So as a result, all productions are very, 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 very strict about what they release. And can you imagine being someone who had to cut a trailer to get people to go see the film and they're not giving you a lot of material? So as a result, any movie I see that I kind of look at the trailer and go, that's not my cup of tea, or, I don't know about that one. But Mulan is a perfect example of this too. You know, when they first showed us the previews, China hated it. So they had to go back, they had to recut it. It's not easy to be someone who does the teasers nowadays. So cut them some slack because it's very hard. So back to Michael Jackson. Yeah. I posted that picture because I was advised by someone who does Instagram very well and has like 100,000 followers or a lot of followers. I have maybe 1,500 followers or whatever. Do I look? I gotta do. And they were telling me that, you know, there was a place I could go to see how many liked the picture, how many commented on the picture, basically the analytics. I didn't even know where to look at that. So I looked at that last night or early yesterday morning. I looked at the analytics on Instagram and noticed that a lot of the pictures in the beginning had like 5 likes or 6 likes. I don't look at the likes. I need to look at the likes. This is what I'm being taught. Look at the likes. Look at the engagement. And I noticed my Michael Jackson picture had 10, 15 likes, and I knew that was because I had not understood what hashtags were. So I wasn't hashtagging. I wasn't hashtagging on Instagram. So now I'm a hashtagger. I hashtag. Now that I know what that does and what that is and how that reaches people that might like to look at this picture, I started to hashtag and realized that that's why my pictures are getting more likes and more views. Not because they weren't great pictures, but because they didn't know about him. It was, the one with me and Michael Jackson is under a bush and nobody's pulling the bush apart to see, oh, look, Terri and Michael. Because Terri's not telling people. She's just posting, So now I'm learning. And I'm learning every day new things and new tips and new techniques. And I'm collaborating with a great gal. And I'll find out if this is going to work. She had a suggestion for me and I opted in. And we'll see. We'll see if it worked, because Instagram is a little bit of an enigma. Well, they're all an enigma to me, full disclosure. I'm 63, In a perfect world, I think an artist would like to close the doors and just sculpt, right? But if we want you to be able to get what you want from us, we've got to post it somewhere. We got to share it somewhere. So we share it here. My Michael Jackson. Okay, now we're getting real. Coming to Captain EO. I know Dune had a lot to talk about because I haven't really talked about Dune that much. But it was a great experience. I had been doing foam sculpted costumes, meaning taking foam you sit on and carving it or sculpting it or molding it to make costumes. And I thought it was because I needed to save money. I honestly thought the movies were really sculpting things out of clay, but they weren't. They were foam sculpting. So when I went to apply for the Dune job, I showed them my portfolio and they went crazy because they saw all of this foam work and I had documented it. So note to you, document your work. if you're building something, if you're experimenting with something, if you're doing a curiosity project. Many of you have seen my teacups, my stop motion teacups. I could have animated those, but I also need to show the process, which I haven't posted yet. But believe me, I shot it. So there's that. So Dune hired me, and at the time I was cutting car mats for fancy cars like Audi and BMW. And then I got fired and was just devastated because that job was really easy and kind of fun, actually. And then 2 days later, I was hired on Dune. So everything happens for a reason. And and Dune was fantastic. I got to work with some great people. Um, um, Great people. Great people. And learned a lot. Learned how to do body casting, which allowed me to then do my mermaid tail. And then yeah, to do my girl hair. I sculpted that, molded it with two of my friends that worked with me on Dune. Because when Dune finished and it was time to go over to a movie like, say, Ghostbusters, which is the movie I went to after Dune, then what happened was I had time to work on this. And I wanted to so bad work on my mermaid tail. So two of my dear friends, Jim Leonard and Jim McGeechee, who worked with me on Dune, helped me to do this too. So again, on the Patreon page, I talked about that process. So, okay. So I know you're looking at me going, well, what about Michael? What about Michael? What about Michael? So now, Michael Jackson. I came home one evening and on my answering machine, yes, back in the day, we didn't have these phones like this. And we had a regular hello phone that could be used as a murder weapon. And there was a way to attach to it a machine that you put a cassette into, the thing you tighten with a pencil. Um, and it recorded messages when people called. So they would call, the machine would activate, and then you could come home and play the messages back. In fact, if you watch is it RoboCop? No. I'm trying to think of a movie where the answering machine is and they're listening to the messages in the movie. But you guys will think of something. Anyway, you push that, it tells you, the person records their message. So I had a message that said, Terry, please call us. We're getting ready to do Captain EO. We would like very much for you to come in and interview for building some of the suits that will be in Captain EO. So I called back, I was brought in, and I built the Whip Warriors that attacked Michael Jackson in Captain EO. I was hired on to do the Whip Warriors. And let me go again to my camera 4 and see if I can see what Captain EO has. Let me just flip it and see what I've got to show you. Not a lot. Yeah, not a lot, but I can talk about it. You can have some visual aids while I talk about it. So let's pop in camera 4. And let's see. No, that is not Michael Jackson. That's Joe Pytka, #1 commercial producer. Still today, I think they're still pretty tough. So here we are, Captain EO. Got to set up my tripod so it doesn't go through some rough spots. Okay. So here I am, right here. You see Angelica Houston as the witch. Well, this one right here, that one, right there. The picture isn't great, but this is me. So I stunt doubled for Angelica because she wouldn't go any higher than 5 feet, and I am 20 feet in the air there. And then over here are some little things that were at Disneyland. A little replica of Michael and his ragtag band, and I am these two characters, Idie and Odie. And then here is my ticket. Thursday 19, look at that, guys. Check it out, 1986. Don't you just love dates? I love dates. But that was the day that we did the special Disneyland via, and then I got a meal voucher. Obviously, I didn't eat. But there's my ticket. Let me just raise it up. The Galactic Premiere. of Captain EO. And that's when Michael showed up in his blue, beautiful blue hat that he had. And then there's some shots that I shot actually that were shot taken of me actually. So there is me as Heidi, and my hair looked exactly like that. And then over here is Michael Jackson at the helm of the ship. We were on a gimbal that moved around, and at one point Michael hurt his hand, and the doctor, you know, it's a problem when you're this famous is people use you to gain fame, and that's what that doctor did. So there's the picture I had with me and Michael that I showed you before. That's on my Instagram page. And we'll come out a little bit. There we go. So Michael was wondering why I didn't take pictures with him. He thought he took it kind of personal. And so here, the reason we're both looking down is because I'm showing him this portfolio. Not with him in it, of course, but so he's looking at my portfolio, and later it got me a job doing his Smooth Criminal sequence in Moonwalking. And then here's the announcement right here, the newspaper article with the Fab Three. This is the reason I took the job, Francis Ford Coppola, because I'm a huge fan of Godfather. But my mother's a big fan, was a big fan of Michael, and then once I met Michael, I became a big fan. And then Full Circle, the movie that changed my life, I got to talk with George Lucas and tell him the movie changed my life. So there you go. And then the last picture I'll show you is this one right here, which is in full-on glare, of course. Of course it is. We're going to bend this. There you go. There you are. So you can see that it is, and I'll see if I can go in. I'm going out. See? Know your cameras, folks. Okay, let's go up a little. There we go. There you go. So I am the two-headed character in the back, and if you watch me during the film, I'm dancing like a son of a gun. Yeah. Yeah, let's put it back on. Much more fun. Put it back. There we go. Choop. Boop, boop. There we go. Yay. You can stare at that for a couple minutes. Michael Jackson and I became really good friends, and he told me that he wanted so much to just be treated more, I guess not quite so, basically what he said, and basically what he wants to be, is he wanted to be just like you guys. He had 3 wishes. I sat and had lunch with him one time, and I think I've told this story before, where I told him I was coming down as, you know, like the good fairy or whatever, his fairy godmother. And I said to him, if I could grant you 3 wishes, what would they be? And he said the first one is to get his childhood back. The second one was to go to a mall without having to buy it first. And the third was to walk amongst people and not be recognized. Those 3 guys, those 3. And what does that say to you? What does that actually say to you? What that says to you is that Michael Jackson wanted to be just like you. He didn't say he wished he wasn't talented. He's very talented, isn't he? Still today, we love his music, and I still have a good dance off with his music. It's my favorite. But he just, fame is not the part that people think about when they want to do something like be an actor, or they're a musician. They just want to do the work. Well, now today with all of these reality shows, maybe there are people whose goal is to be famous, okay? So I can't speak to everyone. But at the time of Michael Jackson, he just wanted to do his music. He just wanted to sing. He wanted to bring joy. And of course, with that brings mad crazy fame. And same with actors. You know, you're having lunch, or I remember Harrison Ford talking about a time he was in the restroom and somebody came to say hello to him because he was, Han Solo. And he said, can I finish? It's just fans get all worked up and you guys get all excited and you jump in when they're eating or you jump in when they're doing something they would rather be private about. And so it's hard. It's a challenge. It's a big challenge. Some people embrace fame, some people just never get used to it. Okay? So that was Michael. He had a real hard, he had to be completely sequestered 99.9% of the time. He had to have an entourage of guards. He did not necessarily deal with it as well as he would like to because it was just a surreal world. And to being able to peek into that world was very surreal. But so there you go. There's I'm just kind of lily padding on that. If you want to know more, I can talk about it more. But I loved him. I loved working with him. He pulled me in on the Moonwalker sequence, his Moonwalker video. He brought me in to work with him on that, which was great. I worked with him for 8 months and was his friend up until the day he died. So it was nice. It was nice. And why? Why me? Well, because he was a colleague. Not a colic, a colleague. And when you're a colleague, you don't take a lot of pictures. He wondered why I wasn't bringing my family and taking pictures with him. And I said, because I wasn't going to use him like a standy card. I have colleagues. Many people ask me why I don't have more pictures of these stars that I'm with. And it's because they're my coworkers. And I really admire my friend Bruce Lanoil because he was able to have two brains, coworker brain, and hey, this would be a nice picture to have for the future. Some of the pictures he has, I just adore. I worked with Dolly Parton, and he has a great shot of him and Dolly, and it's just stunning. And I have more of a group shot of me and Burl Ives and Mac Davis and Dolly, and my head's kind of peeking up in a big picture, but the one of just the two of them, I just really thought was beautiful. What I did do was get Dolly, Burl Ives, and Mac Davis to sign my script, my Dolly Parton Christmas script. So that's what I did. So I'm not saying I'm completely not a fan. Full disclosure, and if I'm going to be honest with you guys, it's just the photo thing never crossed my mind, but the autographing the script thing did. And I still have that script, and I just cherish it. Along with Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451. I have a script that he gave me because he wrote a play. He wrote 3 or 4 plays. I had the opportunity to meet him, again, thanks to my friend Philo Barnhart. And I did the voice of one of his short story characters. And he gave me a script because I told him how much I loved Fahrenheit 451. And what he did in the play was rewrite it to be performed the way he wanted it done because he wasn't a real fan of the movie Fahrenheit 451. So he did a play. He said he liked doing plays because the writer had more clout. They had more power. And he was able to dictate how things play out, So it's kind of interesting. When you get in the film industry, you have to understand certain people have certain power, other people don't have as much, etc., right? So this was the case of Michael Jackson. When he was a small boy, he wasn't allowed to climb trees because he was a megastar at 4 years old. Now he's a commodity. And how do you understand commodity when you're 4, So he really wanted his childhood back. And I gave him a set of videos that I did. One set called "Welcome the Stranger," which is about the birth of Jesus, and he really wanted to learn about the birth of Jesus. So I said, "Well, I've got the greatest thing. You're going to love it. It's puppets. It's a bunch of us together doing puppets for a wonderful company back in St. Louis called Concordia, and that was my first puppet job. One of my very first puppet jobs." And it's really cute. I played a really great character. I played a scrapper, surprise, and named Nanny. And I gave him the videos to have so that he could watch and enjoy something that was kind of kid-like, which he liked. So there you go, Michael Jackson. Yes, it is 9/11, isn't it? And oh my goodness, a day we will always remember. Right? And so the question is, 19th anniversary. Can you imagine? the 19th anniversary of 9/11. Where were you, and what do you remember about that sad day? Up until 9/11, I was all about me. Full disclosure, I was all about me. I thought that your joy would be seeing what I made, what I created, what I did. I would often tell stories just like now, but it was always me, me, I, me, me. I didn't watch television. I was always under these hot lights sculpting. And then 9/11 hit. And for some reason, can't even tell you what compelled, but things that you need to see, even if you're someone who lives under a rock, which back then I did. I didn't watch the news. My husband would say, "Did you hear blah blah?" And I would go, "No, I don't even know what you're talking about," because I did not involve myself in current events. I did not study stuff like that. I did not watch stuff like that. I was in my own little la 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 la, you know, everything is awesome kind of world. And for some reason, I went to get a cup of tea. I sat down, and something pulled me to turn the television set on. And I thought I was watching a movie. I stood there with the teacup in absolute shock and dismay. At first I went, because I thought it was a movie, and then I realized that this was happening. And I remember sitting on the couch in my pajamas and not moving for the entire day. And just crying. Because I could not believe people could hate us so much. It just wasn't, in me. I don't know. I just couldn't believe that people could hate anyone so much as to premeditate, create, study, plan, design this devastating day with the sole purpose of wiping so many of us off the face of the earth. Just don't. I just didn't get it. I just didn't understand it. And I kept watching it, and I kept watching it, and I kept seeing it over and over again. And I kept saying, this just can't be real. This has to be a nightmare. This has to be a movie. This can't be real. This is a problem with living in Hollywood. You don't believe stuff in the beginning because you're in the movie world. You know, we blow things up, build them, and blow them up again. And this was the real thing. This was the real deal. Looking at several people covered in soot and lost because, you know, imagine being a New Yorker and just what and then knowing that someone you love was working in that tower and didn't make it out, and every September 11th you're reminded of it. It's rough. It's very, very rough, and it was very, very hard for me. And I wanted to go there. I thought, let me go to New York. Let me help. But then New York came on and said, don't come here. You know, don't, if you're not a fireman, or you're not a policeman, or we aren't reaching out to you in your state to come and help us, don't come. You're just going to make it worse. And I wanted to do something, and then they said, they're selling these flags. Put the flag on your car and celebrate America. And that's what I did. The flags kept breaking. I remember they went, and I kept buying a new one and buying a new one. And there's a little flag company that like 4 people that make flags, you know, in my city. And all of a sudden there was a line out, people wanting these little flags to fly on their car. I still would like one to fly on my car, but it's a little more challenging for me to get them. I liked that sense of unity that we got from 9/11. I lost a couple of jobs. 2 films that were going to happen didn't. But the one film that did was Country Bears. And when we were filming the sequence in Country Bears in the bar, where Zeb does his violin duet duet, Devil and Daniel Webster kind of, violin, fiddle off. That's what I'm looking for. Queen Latifah was the bartender, you may remember, and she sat with many of us and told us about how she barely got out of New York when all of that stuff started happening. The tunnel needed to be protected, and so she was on her way out to see us in California to shoot this movie, and she just barely, by the skin of her teeth, got out. So this kind of stuff woke me up, and I said, I've got to stop being all about me, and I've got to start being about other people. I was a little embarrassed, actually. So I started looking for something that I could do for someone else. Because if you know me, I always try to end with, do something nice for someone else, it'll make you feel better, right? When I'm doing my broadcasts. Do something for something else, someone else, it'll always make you feel better. And it's true. If you're in a bad place, just think about someone else and do something nice for someone else, and that bad place will lift. It's one of the major things I say. Just get it off you. Put that spotlight on someone else and help them. But I looked and I found the breast cancer walk from Malibu. Well, actually, it was from Santa Barbara to Malibu. And I decided to do that. I decided to get up, get out, and get with human beings and do something that will help other human beings. And so I decided I wanted to train in Santa Monica, and I spoke with a young coach there. She turned out to be married to the heir of Pioneer sourdough bread. Oh, what a great lady. And she sculpted. She did some beautiful sculptures. And I said, where can I buy your sculptures? She says, you can't. I just sculpt to sculpt. I don't sculpt to sell. I don't want to sell any of my stuff. And she had it all over her studio. And I was like, oh, wow, that's wild. But she didn't. She didn't want to sell it. She didn't want to give it away. She just wanted to have the experience and then leave it in her house. So I met a different kind of person. I met all kinds of wonderful people. And I trained. And then I went up to Santa Barbara and got with my walking buddy, Debbie, and we walked for breast cancer. And it was the beginning of my life wanting to help people just like you, wanting to be more of a total human being, not just a Hollywood human being where in many cases in Hollywood, we're all about ourselves, aren't we? I won't wear a mask. I don't care if I get it because I am fine. But it's not about you, is it? Like Lady Gaga says, a mask is a sign of respect to keep others from getting sick, just in case you are asymptomatic, right? So that's the day. That's the day that woke me up and made me realize it's not all about me. And yeah. That, it was a tough day. And when I went to New York to do my voiceover, one of the criteria was I wanted to come and see how they were building the, what they were doing to build and that area, how to commemorate and to show the world. I remember Penn and Teller. Penn and Teller did a little vignette where they said, what is it that should go in the place of the World Trade Center towers to show the world that we just never give up as the United States. We will never give up. You are not going to take us down. We will rise above it like a phoenix. And they had all different kinds of ideas because they did ask artists to come up with ideas. And at the end, they pull a cardboard box up, and it's the World Trade Centers rebuilt, just as they were. They were rebuilt. And they said, this is what we think you should do. This is what we think you should do. Just build it again, like an anthill. And I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was really brilliant. It was brilliant. So today I will make sure that I get out, and we have to be careful in California because it looks like Mars here. We still have yellowy skies. The only good thing about that is it's keeping our temperatures in the 70s. We just don't believe it. But what we're sacrificing, forest fires after forest fires after forest fires, in order to have cooler weather is ridiculous. So I cannot be outside, but I am happy to say that one of the things that I did do was buckle down. I offered to be a part of a very special project with my friend Chris McCulley, and he pops on here often. He's a comic book artist. He's brilliant. He writes comic book story. He writes comic book. He's an ink. He's really talented. I can't say enough about Chris. But he asked me to help him with a comic book that came across his desk for someone very special. And I'm happy to say that I finally finished my contribution to that for this little boy. So I made it a point to do something for someone else. Get off it, sister, and do something for someone else. And this is the AMAs too. The AMAs are for you. I love chatting with you and talking with you about it. The AMAs are for you. And I hope you like them. I hope you do. I'm constantly looking for ways to give you content so you're entertained and not feeling trapped and enclosed from this stuff. Because you notice today I'm a little crazy, and I think I'm all together, and I'm not. Because COVID is like the tingler. It's on your back, and you forget about it sometimes, and then it comes back. And you're like, wow, I thought I was functioning better in this environment, and I reacted really weird all of a sudden. And it's because it's there. And if you don't understand the tingler, it's a 1950s-ish movie, William Castle film. I love William Castle, who used to do tricks in the theater to get you more scared. The tingler is one about a creature that embeds itself on your spine, and the only way to get it off your spine and killed is to scream, or to stop it from attacking you is to scream. So, but it latched on there, and people didn't know it existed there. It just created anxiety. And so I'm thinking about this movie and COVID, because it's in the back always. You can't go out the door and go shopping. You have to remember your mask. You have to remember your hand sanitizer. You've got to remember your gloves. It's a lot more of a list. You can't just grab your keys and go and say, oh goodness, I forgot my cell phone. It's, oh goodness, I forgot my cell phone and my mask and my name. In fact, you have it in your car. You have it in your purse, or you're a guy, you have them in your pocket, whatever. It's not the same. And it's not, and even though you're trying to make it as status quo as possible, because that's what humans do, it's not the same. And that's the same with 9/11. 9/11 made our worlds not the same. And I remember speaking with a gentleman shortly afterwards who was destined to be, this is an amazing story, destined to be on the plane that hit the Pentagon, that avoided the Pentagon actually, but the one that was going to be crashed into the Pentagon, he was scheduled on that plane, but he was late getting to the airport, and they went and told him he could not board, and then that was the plane. So talk about what does that feel like? Every time you're on 9/11, you really start thanking the angel on your shoulder, because you could have been on that plane. Just those kind of near misses in life. Wow. So there you go. So there's that. What are you doing? I had a visitor. Okay. So we saw some ads, upcoming appearances on Outrageous Pumpkins. Oh, thank you for this question, especially after. And then I'm going to jump down, because I see some from people. So I'm going to jump down and do a couple, because I don't want to keep you here forever. And I see we're at the 1 hour mark, so I'm not going to kill you guys today. Probably do, like, if you're okay with 90 minutes, we're going to swing with 90 minutes. I'll do the last few minutes with your comments and stuff. Okay? Yes. Food Network. Yay! Outrageous Pumpkins. Yay! If you saw Outrageous Pumpkins last year, you will remember that I was a judge on that show as well. But it was only one day. And what happened was Outrageous Pumpkins and the Food Network and others involved, turn card, wanted to, decided to do a longer version, a la Halloween Wars, if you will, where it goes over a period of weeks with eliminations. Yay for us because, and yay for you, because I think that makes it a more interesting show. It's very exciting. And this falls under ask what you want. They can only say no, right? So anyway, that was last year, and this year they brought me back. And if you are my veterans of Facebook Live, you know that I broadcasted from my secret location, which some of you actually could guess where I was, and I said shh. They were so nice to let me do broadcast live from there. I was in Long Island and New York in last November, and they allowed me to talk about it. They just didn't want me to show the tents and the setups. So I had to walk to areas where it was kind of, grassy, hilly, pretty, and stuff like that. But a lot of you guys still guessed it, which is cute. You guys are good. But I spoke about being a judge on it, and the fun of being a judge, and that I couldn't tell you specifics, but you probably could guess. So I am a avid pumpkin sculptor. For those of you who don't know, I sculpt some pretty killer pumpkins. I have a few on my Instagram, so scroll through and you can see them. But I just, every year, sculpt pumpkins, and I also teach it. I teach pumpkin sculpting. So I joyfully am hoping I can do it this year, but I don't know. So I'm looking to do maybe a Zoom pumpkin sculpting class, which would be very interesting because I can't stand over you and help you. But if that sounds like something you want to do, I know the Patreon page, my Terry's Tribe, is thinking about it. But if you guys want to do that, please write to me so I can maybe set that up. And maybe we'll have a Zoom pumpkin sculpting class, because unfortunately we can't do it together because we've got this bully in the room. But I'm happy to teach you if you want to be taught. I have tools available that if you want to purchase them, and a video you can actually watch and see if you'd like. So think about that. But because of those pumpkins, they called me up and invited me to be a judge. I'm kind of cliff noting it. Basically, they wanted me a contestant, and I told them I would rather be a judge. And they said, oh, they basically, after I stated my case, they said, okay. And so this was supposed to start on the, this weekend, I think, maybe. Yeah, I think it was Sunday. It was supposed to start the 13th. But they've pushed it back. Let me say that again. They pushed it back. They pushed it back. They pushed it back. And the reason they did was because they wanted it to coincide with the Halloween Wars. So they wanted it to, I think either Halloween Wars is having a finale and they're going to start. I wasn't clear, but they pushed it back to the 20th. September 20th, the first show. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got more contestants. We've got bigger challenges. And the cool thing about this, I was speaking with a friend of mine, the cool thing about Extreme Pumpkins is it's all about the pumpkin. So in Halloween Wars, it's not really about the pumpkin. The pumpkin kind of ends up being secondary. You're making it a pot or you're making it a skirt, but you're not really making it a pumpkin thing. You're not celebrating this particular fabulous, wonderful squash. So this is what I love about Extreme Pumpkins. It's all about the pumpkin. And it's got amazing people on it. I'm sure I don't know, I haven't seen the commercials, but you probably have taken a couple of peeks at some contestants, and maybe you got a glimpse at the amazing Ray Villafane, who I call the Pumpkin King. He is everything pumpkin. And it's great to work with him, and it's great to, if you want to see some of the things he creates, they are absolutely supercalifragilisticdazzling. The man is truly all about the pumpkin. So I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll really enjoy it. That's September 20th. And what will happen is after the show airs, I will be able to show you some of my pictures that I took while on the set. But you would, as you would understand, we don't show those prior to the event because it would spoil it for you. We're not going to spoil it for you. We want you to have a good time and see this amazing competition. So that's that. That's what's happening there on the Food Network. And I hope you'll join. Also, the wonderful thing about the Food Network, which I've always loved as a performer and as a viewer, those of you at home, you can probably see my very, very first show that I did where I judged. And it was then that the pumpkin sculptor sculpted in studio. And then you can see last year's. And you can see this year's, because the Food Network loves to pack October with Halloween cool stuff. So all of those old shows and new shows and current shows all in one place on the Food Network October. So it's a great place to be if you want to learn about cooking, building, caking, everything that has to do with Halloween. They really pull the stops out and make it something extra special. So that's what I love about it, is the show I did in 2005 airs. The show I did in, I did another show in like 20, I can't even remember the dates. That one airs, and then. So I'm, in October, I'm kind of the October girl for the Food Network. So there you go. And let's jump down to a couple. Aiden Kyle asks, any new projects you've been working on? I'd love to hear your thoughts on if I should write. Oh, I answered this one. I answered this one last week, Aiden, but I'll tell you, yes. I think the idea of creating an attraction that can help people whose backs are less than strong is a great idea. So how would you do this? You would actually design an attraction or redesign a car or whatever. You know, you're a mechanic, so just design it and start to post and talk about it, because they're watching. And what's going to happen is they will contact you if your idea sounds good. So don't do all the details, but kind of give the general idea and then build a mock-up and show it, because I think it would be something that they would really, really enjoy to see it. Miki, I answered that question. Okay, so Michael Roman, this one I think I have it, Michael. Who were some of the guys at Mapo who made faces at you when you started out as an Imagineer? Told a story, sculpting, but never mentioned who they were. No, I really don't. I didn't mention who they were. First of all, I didn't mention who they were because, out of respect, you don't want to say so-and-so. I mean, and sometimes I do. Okay, Nick Nolte, when I was up at Magic Mountain and he tried to break my arm, true story. I was a puppet and he decided it might be fun to break my arm, and then this little girl who was just learning about puppets, age 18, threw him out of Magic Mountain, Six Flags Magic Mountain, not Valencia. Yeah, Valencia. Yeah, he's gone. So I did name him. But the people at Mapo, and you understand this if you're a guy, I think, you get together with guys, and guys act the way guys do when they are in the presence of only men. And here's the thing. Women are the same. When they get together with their women friends, they do women stuff, and men do men stuff. So when a woman comes into a situation where the men of Mapo have been doing men stuff for years, it's difficult. So I wasn't angry at them at all, but I was saddened by it, and I wanted to make a change. My whole life as a person in the industry has been to be a lot tougher as a female. Okay, I'm not the I'm not a shop bunny. I think that's pretty obvious. I don't wear short shorts and then, do certain bends and leans and things. There are women out there who do that, and then there are women out there who just want to, they're like me, I want to get my hands dirty. I'm a woman who likes to get my hands dirty. I'm not saying either one is good or bad. I'm saying I'm the one that loves to be arms up in lath and plaster. I probably should have been born a boy, who knows? But I am one of them that is a chainsaw wielding, cement schlepping, rebar cutting gal. And that's mostly men. Most of the people are men that do that. So you have to figure out a way to relate to these massive groups of people instead of trying to push your womanhood on them. This is not a time. We got to get a job done. Disney looks at it and says, we got to get a job done. You know, can you just leave your gender out of it under certain circumstances? You know, for the most part, when you're slinging plaster and doing all this kind of stuff, you can leave your gender out of it. Absolutely you can. You know what I mean? So, you know, you're wearing a hard hat, your hair's pulled back, you know, and next thing you're Mulan. So, I rest my case. She's in there. She's got to get a job done. She's saving her dad, you know? And I wasn't saving my dad, but I really wanted to do this type of work. And I'm really good. I wield a mean chainsaw. A mean one. In fact, so much I was doing a series called Lost on Earth, and all the guys pitched in and bought me a 24-inch chainsaw. And then that year, my husband bought me an evening gown. And he said, I'm the only woman he knows that can have a chainsaw and an evening gown in the same Christmas year. But, so I won't say the guys at Mapo. I don't remember all of them. But I will say that they all became my friends, and I appreciate that. Because I just thought to sculpt them. That could have gone south too, Michael. That could have gone, they could have gotten offended at the cartoony characters I made. But I did them with love in my heart. I didn't do it to be mean. I did it because I wanted to make a connection. I'm always working to make a connection. I don't like living in anger and hate. I don't like it. It's not where I want to be. And there's a lot of people who say they don't want to be there, and yet they post stuff that generates hate. They do protests that involve destruction. And maybe y'all gotta look in the mirror and actually see what it is your motives really are. If your motives aren't about what you think they're about, is all I'm saying. Okay? Did you really think that question was gonna go there? I did not. Thank you, Michael, for that question. Oh gosh, there's so many great questions in here. So many great questions. So, I was going to pull up, I think I can do it, and then I'll answer this question. Oh, good. So I did help someone else this time. I have another person, a really dear friend, who does foam work on Patreon. He has a Patreon page too, and he was having trouble going live on his private Facebook page that he offers. And so I didn't quite understand what his question was. He wrote me and he said, Terri, can you help me? I'm having trouble figuring out how to go live in a private page. And so I wrote him and I answered the question the way I thought I could answer this question. And I said, if I missed your question completely when I answered it, write me back and I will answer it again. So, but it turned out that was exactly his question. So I got to help someone else. I think that's what today could be. Because it is September 11th and there was so much hate on this day. Let's see how much goodwill and love we can spread around. What kindnesses can you do today? Make it about the kindnesses that you can show people. That's what I think I'm going to do today. In fact, I am going to do that today. Okay, so now let me just see. I just want to, oh dear. Yes. Okay, never mind. I'm going to my photos. Okay, I'm going to try and show you these on my phone. It really should be my iPod, and it really should be hooked up, but my camera is doing double duty today, so I cannot do that. But the question is, talking about legends and Margaret Carey. How many of you know Margaret Carey, the amazing Tinkerbell? She has been my friend for a long, long time. So long, I cannot remember where I first met her. It's been so long that we've known each other, and I've absolutely loved it. Well, Margaret fell in love. This is the perfect thing to talk about today. Margaret fell in love. At 90, she found a long lost love. And I'm going to see if I can I'm going to carry it up to you instead of bringing it down, because reaching up there can be dangerous. But anyway, here is the picture. Oh, yeah, it works pretty good here. These are wedding dresses. So how did this happen? Well, Christy Vaca, V-A-C-A, she got this idea because she's really good friends with Margaret. And this is her little lovely daughter, Bella, here. So one of the games we played was to take toilet paper and create a wedding dress. Not that Margaret was going to wear said wedding dresses. But the challenge, the thing was that I can tell you about this, is this dress here is so precious. They really should have separated us. It was me and another amazing young lady, but we're both artists. So the two of us took it on as artists. Here we are here with the dress. And you can see that we're quite proudly, it's kind of hard because it's the white. Let's see, when you're showing white on white on white. But if I move in a little bit of it, Bella wore a t-shirt, and we did this nice little braided wrap here. We did an over the shoulder thing here. We did a bow. And then also, I think, I don't know if she's wearing it in this picture, but we also did a veil. And this poor fella. The other one is a guy, bless his heart. And you can see Linda Swisher, she's giving a giggle right there. It was really cute. But this guy, what a trooper. They tried to get my husband to dress up in the wedding dress, and he ran for Cincinnati. He was like, no way, that's not happening. But Bella was a good sport. You can see from the back here, we also made her a veil. So, Margaret gave us both awards because Margaret is a good person. Here we go. Here we can show the back a little bit. And you can see here that she also had a lovely veil that we made her. We just got into it because we're artists, right? Yeah. This is a beautiful lady right here. Yeah. Forgive me with the name. I'm having a vapor lock as usual. But Bella, doesn't she look cute? And then there's just the dress. And everybody was like in her little tennis shoes. Just so cute. Leo gave me a heads up on this. So Margaret had never had a bridal shower. So this is why how the bridal shower happened. And there's our lovely guest of honor in the middle, Miss Margaret, Tinkerbell, next with Linda Swisher, and then a ton of really lovely people. And there's my husband and I in the back. Everybody there at her favorite restaurant celebrating her bridal shower. And apparently she is just in heaven right now with her new husband. But he's 94 now. I guess he just turned 95 just recently. And yeah, so it wasn't really like a bachelorette party. It was a bridal shower for her because we had men and women, and it was really fun. It was great. I was glad to be a part of it. Like I said, I can't remember the day that I met her, but we were never the same. We both were entertainers, and I think it was at a Disneyana at the time they were the NFFC. I'm just gonna get that out of there. At the time they were the NFFC, and now they're the Disneyana Fan Club, and we both spoke on the same stage at one point. I think that's where we met. And she automatically came and found me because she said, you are an entertainer, and so am I. Let's do something together. And that's how and we both lived close to each other in California. So we did a lot of stuff. We had breakfast almost once a month until she fell in love. And then she moved to Florida. So now Floridians, you have Margaret there, and we miss her here. But what a great lady! Just she taught me a lot of stuff. I helped her as best I could. But she is one of those people that when you met her in person, she never sat behind a table. She sat in front with her art and things off to either side of her. That way she could meet and greet her majority of fans and take pictures and sign autographs and chat with them more on what she felt was a personal level. And she was selling books and she was selling photos. So that worked for her. For me, I had my sculptures and I had to keep an eye on my sculptures. So I was forced to be behind the table. And I remember telling her, I'd love to be in front of the table, but I need to be behind the table to keep an eye on my stuff at the same time. So you do what you got to do when you're in these events. But one of the things is you want to be engaging. And Margaret and I both knew what that meant, was to be engaging and to talk about people and what do they like. You're not just sitting there doing a broken record of I. You're kind of asking, what is it about Tinkerbell that you love? She would say this, oh, I love that too, she would say, and then she saw that I did a Tinkerbell tiptoeing across the map, and she said, how about we do a signing together? And we talked with Disney, and they allowed us to be at the Disneyana store in 2000 and I think it was 2004 or 5 we were together. And so if you have one of those Tinkerbells where she signed one side and I signed the other, it's extremely valuable because we only did that for an evening, just a couple of hours. We got the idea, they said yes, and we ran with it. So she's a go-getter. She's a lovely lady, and I love her. One of my favorite things was I went and did a convention up north. I think I mentioned this before with Carol, and Carol did it. Margaret was there, Carol was there, I was there, and we were in twin beds at the house that we stayed at, and we just chatted like schoolgirls all night. I mean, that's just kind of the way we are, and so I love her. I'm feeling like I should call her now because I miss her, so I should give her a call. But that's really, really awesome. And I think I'm going to stay on that upbeat, guys. I think I'm going to stay on that level. So this ends my part of AMA. And now what I'm going to do is give back to you right now and let you see your comments live on this feed because you deserve it. So I'm looking now at the comments to see here. Okay, so here I was asking Kevin Wiedenweber how he is doing, and here he is saying that he is in the hospital. He is having some health issues, and he's going to do an auction to help him with his issues, and I'm going to let him be the one to tell you about it, but run over to his page and learn about Kevin. He's a super guy. And then Jessica, if I missed your question, I'll get to it the next time. And then, yes, Golden Gate Disneyana Club. They're everywhere, your Disneyana clubs. And if you want me to speak, give me a shout out because I don't have to travel. So, hello, Marilyn. What a cute picture. I love that picture. And there's Leo. Thank you, Leo, for compiling the questions. I was going to say that if Leo gets tired of questions, I got a million of them. Because when you speak in public, sometimes in front of high school kids especially, they're shy for a little while. So you have to have some startup questions so that they feel better. One of my favorite is, what was the most disgusting puppet thing you ever did as a puppeteer? That usually gets them rolling when I talk about that. Hello, Miss Ava. A friend of ours plays in Sting's band and records with him. Isn't that fun? He was lovely. He was a lovely guy. A lovely, lovely guy. You know, you have to have a lot of composure when someone's slathering plaster all over your body. Just saying. He has to leave, worn out. Thanks everyone in the Dations able to make us well as all the words of support and concern. The group is amazing. So yes, Kevin is having a situation. I sent him some things for his auction. Write to him, find out what you can do to help him out, and I'm gonna let him say the whole deal. And Deanna's telling him to take care. That's a good, lovely person. See, you did a nice thing, Deanna. Design was brilliant. When I think of Dune, I always see the image of Kyle in the suit and the sheet on the movie one sheet. And the interesting thing about Kyle MacLachlan in Dune was that the suit pieces were designed for Kyle. And Kyle was a very well-shaped man. He didn't have a lot of body fat. So when you tried to change it for certain people that might not be as lean and mean as him, you can't just stretch the pieces. And if you watch the movie again, Kyle steps forward and some of his suits all of a sudden get a kink in them. And that's because some people just didn't know enough about patterns. They were just kind of blindly following the diagram. And sometimes you have to have a little bit more. Thank you for that, Patrick Stewart. Spelled, both of you guys are so cute. Hi, Linda. I am still perky. It's surprising. I'm going to get to be perkier. My nerdy self would have asked him about Strange Brew. Exactly, right? Yeah, I didn't. I hadn't seen a lot. So unfortunately, again, this was at a time when I was kind of sculpting and doing my own thing. Flash Gordon, yes. Max Moncito is such a lovely person. And he loved looking in the mirror and not seeing Max, but seeing Ming, the Merciless. He said it was just phenomenal for him. And, it's great to talk to these actors about stuff like that. It's great to talk to people about some of the interesting things they've been through, right? Or do. If you don't mind going off topic, says Patrick, I did the temple dog or terror dog that Sigourney Weaver turns into. I performed that dog. Yeah. And get with Leo at Leo Holzer and ask that Ghostbuster question and I'll answer it next time. And you can I was the one in the refrigerator and the doorway and so also built with my very good friend and designer Bill Bryan, the Marshmallow Man, Stay Puffed. So, and puppeteered Stay Puft Face with some friends. Yeah, because it took 3 or 4 of us to do it, but we did that too. So if you want to learn that, hit Leo. Chat, let Leo know. Air yesterday was horrible. Yes, it was Mars. It was like living on Mars, Linda. Do you remember when we went to Seek? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So Captain EO was for a while put back into Disneyland, and Bob Burdine, when I went to see it, on a very special day, Bob Burdine let the cast member know that I was in the audience, and they applauded my work on it. So thank you. That was, and then afterwards, I was surrounded by people who wanted to know more and got to meet a lot of cool people. There's a great shot of a guy who I met at D23 who sees me all the time. He always dresses up like Michael Jackson in that outfit, and the outfit is a beautiful recreation. So it's a lot of fun to meet all of you guys all the time. I miss you. I really do. That's where all the footage of a mini-series cut of Done. Yes, and not as good, but yeah. Yes, exactly, Mark. And that's the thing. There was Laserdisc. You remember Laserdiscs? They were big, looked like vinyl records, but they played movies. I still have an amazing set. If you don't know what this is and you want to see what that is, then put that in the AMA and I'll make sure that I bring it out. Or maybe I'll do that on Monday. I'll show you what a Laserdisc looks like. Michael Jackson signed my Laserdisc for Captain EO. The Laserdisc wasn't Captain EO. The Laserdisc was Thriller, but on Captain EO, he signed my disc, and I have it in a frame. So if you want to see that, just let Leo know, and then Leo will let me know ahead of time, and I'll make sure I have it out here to show you. Re-edited version of the film shown over 2 nights on network TV. Yes, exactly. That one. Yeah. I mean, there was a Laserdisc, as I started to say, that had 7 hours. It was from Japan. And I don't know if it had anything more of me in it or what in it. We just didn't buy it because it was hundreds of dollars. But somewhere there's a Laserdisc out there with, like, 20 discs, and it's got most of the footage. I'm told. I'm told that's what it is. I'll see you tomorrow, Miss Diane. And you guys are saying goodbye. You guys are see, just doing that, right? And Ava's off and running. And a good morning from Michael Clarkey and Nate. How excited it was when they went to mini cassettes for answering machines. I still have one. And my husband, I go, is there any reason we want to keep this? And my husband is like, really? You do? Oh, a digital landline. I do too, actually. Now that I think about it, I have a digital answering machine too. It's to answer all those robocalls that are telling me my social security number and my IRS and whatever scam they're running at the time. You can call that number. Oh, Susan, look. Remember your stories about Angela and how Michael was afraid of her? Yes. And she of heights. I subbed for her. That is correct. Disc he signed, correct. And it won't play it anymore. And then Magical Jacket that he had made for me. Yeah, I'm going to post that on. I'm going to go take an Instagram picture. Because yesterday I posted the Michael Jackson picture. And I got a new fan that, not necessarily following me. I don't think he's following me yet. But he wrote and said, could I see more Michael Jackson stuff? And I said, I'll post the jacket today. So I got to post that. But so you guys will see it. And I did. I brought it to the meeting in Sacramento. Yes, I did. You are right. Very good, Susan. You have a machine too, but you don't think it's digital. Isn't nostalgia great? I would rather be a working performer than a famous performer. Flame is fleeting and fickle. Everyone would. Don't listen to actors who say, well, Kardashians or something different. But most people don't want that fame. Most people, it's a nature of the beast. So, yeah, it comes with the territory. So they have to deal with it as best they can, and this is why they have assistants, associates, shoppers, bodyguards, all of that stuff, because they've got to go out and live their life, and it's not so easy. Mike, thank you for joining us. Yes, very talented and a love. Janet says that's why Krista didn't pursue singing. She had a following, and she didn't want the life, so she said she wanted a normal life. She had a really good voice from 9-year-old recording deal, but was afraid. Yes, I mean, a friend of mine across the street named Madison. Can you imagine what movie the mother saw? And then named her daughter Madison. I'll give you a hint. But Madison thought she wanted to be an actress, and she worked very, very hard at it. And then one day she kind of woke up and said no. And that happens with a lot of people. They wake up and they go, never mind. Yes, Bob. Never have. You hang out with friends and you never think to do it. However, Bob is like me. He has people sign his cowboy hats. So he has all these great cowboy hats with the big brim, and animators drawing them, and everybody he sees, he has them drawn them. So just like me, and showing Michael Jackson my portfolio and secretly applying for a job. That's not Bob, but me. There you go. Getting my script signed by Dolly Parton. Things like that. Go, Bob. Yeah, driving to the school, watching it on TV. It was hard to think anyone could harbor that much. Exactly, Linda. That was my absolute point. I think I sat there in complete shock that someone could hate us so badly that they could actually not only design and create this evil thing, but execute it. Just too hard. Too much for words. Janet says her friend called her screaming, telling her to turn on the TV. One of the planes was supposed to be her husband's flight. He worked for United, but he changed it. He was supposed to be the pilot. See what I'm saying? When it's not your time, it's not, is it? And when it is, sometimes somebody's at the helm of it, and I don't like that at all. I just, I just don't. I just can't believe it. Peggy says she was getting ready for work. Her daughters were getting ready for school. She had the TV on and looked up. She thought, why are they showing part of the movie Towering Inferno? Exactly, Peggy. Then she realized it was real, called the children in, told them this was a day we would never forget, like me, the day JFK died. Peggy, I automatically flashed on that as a little girl. Because John F. Kennedy died, where was I? I was a little girl playing with Legos on the floor of one of those braided carpets. You know, those carpets that start in the middle and then they go out and they're braided, you know, and they were round, you know, kind of 1950s style. My mother was at the ironing board and she was ironing clothes, and she is a huge John F. Kennedy super fan. She loves the Kennedys. If she had been in any kind of condition to fly at the time I went sailing with Robert Kennedy's son, Max, I would have taken her, because she loves the Kennedy family. And she really would have had a great time with the matriarch, Rose Kennedy, when I got to meet all of them. But that day, my mother was watching As the World Turns. I'll never forget it, that soap opera. And they cut it and said news bulletin, and they said Kennedy was shot. I remember looking up at my mother. She had the iron. It fell in slow motion from her hand and tumbled, bouncing off of the ironing board and over my head onto the carpet. And when I looked back from the iron to my mother, she was wavering like this, and she fainted. And I called my dad in and said, I don't know what happened. I don't understand. Mom's on the floor. So that day was a devastating day as well. How can you hate a person so much that you would do such destruction? We may never know. And then you want to multiply it and you want to do a lot of destruction. It's like, wow, wow. So thank you, Peggy. I appreciate you bringing that thing up and seeing, Heat is on the way again. Yes, indeed, heat is on the way again. But it's not going to be as hot as it was. So, or as they do in Zatoichi, yes, it's everywhere. It is just, there are 85 fires as of yesterday burning. How does anybody handle that? Gosh, you gotta love firemen. Man. Bob says, day my sister came over, public liaison to the patients, called her from work and said there was a family that was displaced, nowhere to go, pooled money together, went down to the hospital, helped these people. Stopped at a Burger King. Girl behind the counter was so compassionate. We had $9 and she put in the rest. We took the food to the family and took them to a hotel. My sister found a place for them to stay. Never forget. The Burdines, I have to tell you, Bob and Rose, are all about giving. They give beyond hurting. They are amazing. Susan talks about The Tingler was scary. I'm so glad that you know that movie, Susan. The hand, scary like The Hand or The Thing. I watched all of those afternoon after school. They are amazing. Crawling Hand is another one that's just great. There's a well, I won't spoil it for you, but there's a scene that's pretty creepy, and it's all black and white, so there's not a lot of gore. It gets gory because in black and white, your imagination kicks in, right? So, yeah, it's amazing. Outrageous Pumpkins, thank you, Linda, for saying it. Linda Rolls does sculpt outrageously wonderful pumpkins. So, Hollywood Wars is really fantastic, Deanna, and if you get to see season 5, you can see my good friend Joseph Yakovetic. He's a competitor on there. So watch for season 5 and Joseph Yakovetic, the amazing artist. Yes, we do love pumpkins, and I'm hoping we can do something But we got to figure it out, guys. You would, Nate? Okay, let's talk virtual pumpkin sculpting because we should be setting up for it now. You should be looking about where you can get your pumpkin, okay? And then I will post my tools where you can go to get my tools if you want my tools. But understand they are ceramic sculpting tools. So I will show you what they are. And then you can either purchase them from me and I'll send them to you if you want the ease of that. Along with my video, I have a package that works with that. Or you can get my video and buy the video from me because on Amazon, they're charging a crazy amount for it. I can't even imagine anyone would pay for that. But anyway, and we'll get you set up so that you can practice. You can kind of pre-study so you're ready to do the class, right? And we'll talk about what kind of pumpkin, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you can look for. And then, but if you can't be too particular, I understand because I really don't know what's growing. First of all, heat has been an incredible challenge, and that could kill a crop. And also COVID. So I don't know how the farmers are saying how many people are actually going to be coming and getting pumpkins. It's kind of a push me, pull you kind of a thing, right? Right. So, yeah, reading your comments takes time, guys. But I like doing it. Just couldn't. Exactly, Melissa. The heat is nailing them. So, thank you, Peggy. I would love to see. Oh, yeah. Okay, Peggy. I will keep that. Let's figure out when. When's Halloween this year? Maybe we do it on Halloween. In the morning, I'm thinking. Well, I mean, maybe we do it the 30th so that everyone everywhere can enjoy it. Or maybe we do it the 29th so it's before everyone and everywhere. We'll figure it out. But I'm glad you guys like it. And I'm so glad Linda joined us. I want the extended series to be a big hit so that this becomes an annual event. I do want this extended series to be an annual event and for me to be a judge all the time because I love doing it. It's a great show. It's not like Face Off, where Face Off is the makeup show, and what happens is they have elves come in at night and do all the work and get everything done so that they can show it in a period of a few days. And then what's happening in the industry is that producers believe that that is how you do makeup effects, and that's not how it works. But with this one, it's a lot of real time. Just so you know, we are not, no elves were involved in the making of the Extreme Pumpkins. It was just the contestants, all their brain work, all their skills, all their talent, and nothing else. It's a great show. It's got heart, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Hey, Angie Floyd, I missed ya. There we go. Oh my goodness, you guys are amazing, these comments. Transportation supervisor in charge of 30 truck drivers. Some of the men had a problem with me being their boss. It was difficult. Melissa? Yeah. Seriously. What is that gender thing? You know, it's kind of funny that a woman has to go through that because the ones that hunt in the wild are the females, right? So what's the deal? Hi, Adam. Good to see you. What a great picture. They seem to have more problem with me being able to do the job than showing them up. No, I know. There's a movie somewhere that I watched where the guy got in and he was really into it, so he was doing production really fast, and the employees came down on him because they wanted to kind of extend it out, play a few cards, eat a little lunch, not work so hard. And this guy was showing them up. I'm sure that wasn't you, but it's a weird thing, isn't it? Hi, Knott's Berry Farm and Tamara. You almost got tickets for today. Oh, my. Bravo. 8 years old. You remember it. Oh, you do? Wow. Well, I think I might have been the same age as you when Kennedy was assassinated, Adam. So I do remember it too. You should have, we could have, yes, met up at Knott's Berry Farm. Are they doing the chicken dinner? I love that chicken dinner. Is the boat ride still? See, we're asking all the things there. All of the things we want to know. We want to know about Knott's Berry Farm. Maple question ended, what did you become friends with them? And somehow I knew You were kind and forgiving. Yes, I didn't read the end of the question because I kind of went off on a tangent, didn't I, Michael? Yeah, we all became friends. I don't a lot of them are not there anymore. There were a lot of older guys, and those that are there, I haven't gotten the chance to talk to them um as much. Many have retired. Disney's a great way to retire. I will tell you, if you can do it, it's great. Uh, there, we're talking about the rides and things that aren't open. Food events and stores are open. Yes, Peggy, at the barn, she did that. She did that after the smokehouse dinner, didn't she? It was so fun. It was so fun. Amazing. So giving. Yes, yes, we will. We will. They are very happily ever after. Yes, and that's, I think, why everybody loves that piece that I did, that Tinkerbell piece. Everybody, now we're kind of winding down, as everybody says. I think you have a few more weeks worth of questions with the ones I sent last night. Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe how many pages, Leo. I barely got through that much. So anyone who has questions, just keep them coming, and we'll do this long one if you want to do it. I don't mind. Absolutely, the Paris trip is coming back. 2022, I'm thinking, for doing the Paris trip. Oh, yay! That's so exciting. I love you, Nate. We'll talk later. Watching a soap when they cut in with Jay. Yes. Oh my goodness. And you had the measles. It was just it was and it was the time when they sort of showed a lot. And then I remember Walter Cronkite just so choked up as he tried to report the story, because you're trying to be, report the news without, and everybody loved, there were so many who loved John F. Kennedy that they were really devastated when this happened. Terrifying, really terrifying. You're still here. You do, in the Midwest. Okay, good. Get your group together and let's think about a public Zoom event. Nice thing about that is it could be about, hundreds of people. And I just go, whoop, 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 and look at all your guys' stuff and see what you got too, right? Yeah, exactly. Okay. Wow. Guys, look at you. Took us almost to the 2-hour mark with your wonderful comments. I want to thank you for that. Always makes me feel good when you engage. So yes, we still have quite a few questions here. I think I didn't get to this one, so I'll make a mark on that one. Didn't get to that one. And then I talked about the legend, and then from here down, I didn't do, and look, there's more pages. Look, more. Yay. So Leo maybe doesn't have to worry about being so tired, because y'all are diving in. So thank you for diving in and asking questions if you want it to go long. And then if you're sitting through this and going, wow, she can really talk. Understand I talked for about 40 minutes on the other channel before this one. My husband says, you can really talk. And with that, I love you. I will see you soon. Have a lovely weekend. I'm going to be working on the ghosts. Oh, did I show you? I did. I showed you him, right? Yes. I got to finishing him up, and hopefully you'll see ghost number 2, the Professor Phineas, on Monday. Fingers crossed. Okay, guys. See you soon. Love you. Be well. I'm waving.